हेलो। अच्छा तुम म्यूट पे हो।
Keep yourself on mute. Hey. Cool. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Chat is disabled for the live stream. Hey, everyone. Can you hear me? Suraj, if you are there, can you check if this is live and whether the chat is enabled? Great. Now I can see the everybody's messages. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining on a Sunday evening, especially. I know most of you have plans to do things on Sunday, but still, thanks a lot for joining. So how is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? People, students from Geekster, how are the classes going? Are you enjoying the classes or not? Good evening, everyone. There is some lag in the session, so what I am saying goes to you after a minute, I believe. Anyway. Great, sir. We are enjoying. I am fine, sir. Nice. I'm from Geekster. Nice. Great. How many of you here are not already Geekster students? Yes, sir. Maza aa raha hai. Classes are going really interesting. That is pretty good. That is pretty good. Can you explain in Hindi? Mostly the session will be a mix of Hindi and English. Okay. Cool. So everybody, welcome to this session. Let me just start the session. I'll talk about the agenda of today's session. Let me share my screen. So today's session, as you already know, is a live tech talk session with industry expert. In today's expert, I'll just introduce the expert for today. Okay. We already have had such sessions in the past twice before, and this is the third session on the similar lines. Okay. What is the agenda for today's class? First of all, my self-introduction, then the purpose of the session. I'll introduce the guest to you, an informal discussion with the guest where I have a prepared set of questions. I will ask these questions to her and she will share her opinion, her views on all of these questions. Then we will do a small round of introduction about Geekster. What is Geekster? What do we do exactly? Okay, for people who are not already Geekster students, for you, it will be an excellent opportunity to learn more about Geekster. And then we will have a Q&A session where you can ask anything from the expert and she and I both will try to answer your questions. Okay. Before going ahead, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Vikas Ranjan. I'm working as a senior software engineer at Coinbase. I have worked at Zomato and Expedia before this. I have more than 7 years of experience. Apart from my full-time job as a software engineer, I am also a technical educator and I have taught over 2,500 students in the last 2.5 years. Okay, if you ever want to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram, these are my handles. Cool. I think most of you would have already interacted with me in one of your pre-course sessions or your orientation sessions. Cool, let's move ahead. Let me introduce today's guest to all of you. So today's guest, everyone, is Plavika Singh. Plavika has more than 7 years of experience. She's my college friend. Currently, she's working as an SD3 at Expedia. She has also worked at Paytm and Sapient before this. Plavika, hi, welcome to the session. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Vikas, I can hear you.
Hi, Plavika. Thanks a lot for joining the session, especially on a Sunday. Thank you for giving the time. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Cool. Um, so we are just going to start the session, everyone. If you have any questions, if you want to ask some question in the middle also, you can keep typing your questions in the chat. Okay, whatever question you have from Plavika, any question that you have from me, you can keep asking them in the chat. Okay, and we will take them up whenever we get time. Cool, let's move ahead. Plavika, before we start, would you want to give a quick intro about yourself?
Sure. So, hi guys. Hello everyone. My name is Plavika Singh. I am currently working as an ST3 in Expedia Group as a front-end developer. And previously, I've worked with Paytm, and Sapient is the company which I started from in 2015. So, yeah, pretty much about me.
Great. So, Plavika, can you tell us more about your journey from college to Expedia? Like, how did you prepare? Sapient, you already told your first company was Sapient. So, a little more about your experience at Sapient. Then, Sienna also, you worked for Sienna with some time. You worked at Paytm and then Expedia. So, maybe you can talk about all of that.
Yep. So, from college, I started with Publicis Sapient, which is now currently known as Publicis Sapient. Back then, it was Sapient Nitro, and we joined as a bunch of other college mates, and we had some classroom trainings. So from there onwards, I was introduced to front end domain, and we started on these technologies. Back then, it was native JavaScript and jQuery, not React or all these things.
Right.
And then we were put into a project which is also front end heavy, and from that project, tech stack was pretty much similar. We were focusing on being pixel perfect, responsive designs, etc. And then after working into a couple of projects for Sapient, I moved on to Paytm for a Paytm payments team, and there I worked on a merchant's B2B website. So a website was created for the merchants when you pay in a Paytm to any merchant, and then we created that website from scratch. And once that was done, after few time, I moved to Expedia Group. Here I am part of lodging team, which is the hotel booking system of Expedia. So here the tech stack is React, TypeScript, GraphQL. Expedia kind of works mostly on the new tech stacks,
Right.
which is in the market. So yeah, and we are moving towards server-driven UI. So yeah.
Cool. So you already mentioned about your experience through different companies. So you mentioned about like earlier we did not have React and all. Earlier we mostly worked on jQuery, or Angular was pretty much new in 2015. So overall, if you want to see the industry in the last 7 years, how have you seen it changing, the tech industry?
Yeah. So tech wise, like as I said, like we have seen that transformation from writing that n number of lines of codes in jQuery and JavaScript to simple components and breaking down them to simple smaller components and reusing them through React. Overall, and even further down the line, we are making it more concise with the concept of the server driven UI. So
Right.
overall, the tech transformation, I would say, is huge. With this React coming into picture, a lot of companies moving into using React, and
Right.
yeah.
And apart from technologies, like how have you seen it changing? Like you can talk about anything. You can talk about salary. You can talk about demand of tech, or you can talk about like earlier websites were more popular. Now we are seeing mobile apps getting more popular. So
Correct.
what other changes have you seen?
Yeah, like if you compare it with the earlier times, now here today, these times we have groceries in minutes. Like
Right.
it's super awesome. Like, you can just simply place an order, and within minutes, it will come to your house.
Right.
Overall, back then, we could not even imagine all these things. We were always in the supermarkets and stuff, and manual work was much more in
Right.
comparison to current scenario. So even, and definitely since with the smartphones too much into the picture, and these days apps are like in so much demand. Every project, every company which wants to launch themselves, they definitely want to have their own apps so that it can be on the user's fingertips.
Right. Cool. Great. Uh, do you want to tell us more about the technologies or the skill sets that you're working on currently in Expedia? Like you said that right now you're working on latest technologies. So what tech stacks are they?
So we are in front end, we are using React, TypeScript, and then we have GraphQL implementation. Like we have moved on from REST APIs. Then we have actually Expedia Group has contributed to GraphQL server of its own in Kotlin. So that's
Okay.
an open sourced.
Okay.
And post apart from that, yeah, majorly these GraphQL, you won't hear many of the companies using it.
Right.
So that's one thing.
Sure. Okay. Apart from this, like, okay, now let's talk about things that are more relevant to our students. So according to you, what are some of the qualities that are useful to make you successful in the world of technology?
Okay, so I think that you should love what you do. If you are really very passionate and you just like your work, you will definitely do things which will help you to be successful. So for
Right.
instance, if you are really very much enthusiastic about your work, you will keep yourself updated with the market. You'll try and do maybe some participate in coding activities, hackathons, whatnot. So that is one way of growing in a tech way, in a coding point of view. And then let's say if you work with some teams here which have a multinational team member, like in Expedia, we had across the globe, we have teams from Brisbane to San Francisco. So you get to know these other teams and how they are working, their work culture, a lot of knowledge from them. So all these things contribute and help you grow in your career.
Sure. Sure. Um, Students, I see some of you are asking some questions. I'm acknowledging all of these questions, but we'll answer your questions after a while. Okay, so let me just finish all of the questions that I have, because it is highly possible that whatever you are asking, I will already cover that. Okay, so once I'm done with all of my questions, then we will also start taking up the questions that you are asking. Okay, so don't worry, we'll cover all of them. Cool, moving ahead. Yeah, so Plavika, all the companies that you mentioned, like Sapient Publicis Group is a big group. Like even in India, they're pretty big and they have projects and clients from all over the world. US, Europe, many countries there. Expedia is probably the biggest travel e-commerce group in the world. Paytm is also like probably leading finance platform in India. So all of these have been big companies. So any particular reason you prefer working in big companies, or was it just because you got opportunities there?
Yeah, I would say partially it's correct. I kind of got opportunities in that way. But apart from that, these are big companies, but very different in their own way. Like Sapient, it's a service-based company. It has clients, and then the project starts. So the very much the project tech stack will depend upon the client. And then in Paytm, is it is more or less a matured startup, I would say, but still a matured startup. So it's a product-based company, and then overall, you have a lot of freedom when you work, that you can try and experiment with the tech stack you're working on. You can implement things which you think that you are right. You can take up to that level. And Expedia Group is a very much established MNC and a product-based company. So here it is more like a tech company first, because I'm saying that because we do experiment with these tech stacks. We don't hesitate in moving from one tech stack to another. Like a couple of years back, Expedia's services all were in REST APIs, but then they moved to GraphQL. So we make that kind of a change very seamless and not a big deal about it. So yeah, but I won't say that I do have a preference for bigger companies.
Okay, cool. So, okay, let's just talk about this in detail. So even if you see the questions that students are asking, most of them are asking how to get into a product company. So product company is like everybody wants to get into a product company. Since you have worked in a services sector also, I just want to understand what are some of the things where you feel that product companies are better, and what are some of the things where you feel that service companies are better?
So both have their own pros and cons. Like a product company, in a product company, there is not a bench kind of a system. You'll always be working on some of a product. In a service-based company, there kind of be a period, maybe a transition period. I won't say it's a very long period, but
Right.
when your project changes for maybe one day, couple of days, you'll feel that okay, I don't have any project assigned to me and all that. Then based on the project, in Sapin, we used to have like a lot of on-site opportunities. So depending upon the client, so a lot of my friends and colleagues have went to like all of the different places from Australia to US to Dubai. So there, that kind of an opportunity we won't get in a product-based company. But then in product-based company, you will get more of kind of authority over the work you are doing. And in Sapin or the any of the service-based company, it is very much client-driven. What client wants.
Right. Okay. But another thing could be like, do you think like how many projects did you work on in Sapient? Like, do you remember?
Yeah, I worked on 4 projects. I worked on 4 projects. Yeah.
4 projects, and these were all for 4 different clients, is it?
Completely different clients.
So different domains also, right? So
Yeah.
was that also a good experience for you, like getting to learn new domains?
Yeah. So every project could be different. Some could be in jQuery, some could be in Angular, some could be in React. So you get a different kind of a learning set of exposures depending upon the clients.
Great, got it. Cool. And if you like talking about like your experience with Paytm and with Expedia, so how do you think is working at an MNC different than working at a big company? Working at MNC different than working at a startup?
So it's very different overall. The culturally also it's very different. So in Paytm, like overall, it's just a team of, let's say how many people, like 15-20 people also. We all are sitting nearby. We just, stand-ups are also very much smooth and easy and all. But working in Expedia, like I said, we had teams across the globe. So sometimes I work with the London team. Then our daily routine and stand-ups are also very much, aligned to the folks who are other members on my team. So if you're in a project with London folks, you'll have stand-ups at 2 p.m. afternoon. So all that, in general, the culture is also very much different, considering it has very much US culture in Expedia, while the Paytm will have more or less an Indian culture.
Yeah, right. So Paytm would be more fast-paced than Expedia, definitely.
Yes, definitely. The processes are very different. Here we used to, make things like, you can think of making deployments and making things live very quickly. But in Expedia, there are a lot of processes before you can get your things in the deployment and you can actually see your code in the production.
Right. But what are the advantages of these processes?
So it has an advantage because we are in a CI/CD. So in that case, if you are continuously deploying your code, if you don't pass those processes and any buggy code can go into the production, so that
Right.
will be definitely a business hit. So
Right.
all those processes are not, they have some more meanings. Like even if you say that there are multiple PR checks, they are because of a reason that your buggy code should not go into the production.
Right.
That's the major thing.
So basically, if we summarize, so like companies like Expedia and MNCs, they focus a lot on the quality of the software that is getting built or delivered, and unlike the speed of the product, which most Indian companies or startups focus on.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, can you tell us more about what is your day-to-day work at Expedia? What all things do you do?
Okay. So we are in a hybrid culture. So I do go to office for a couple of days. For our team, it's Tuesday, Wednesday. And overall, even if I don't go to the office, the day-to-day life is quite similar. I start with checking my mails, what all meetings I have, when do I have my stand-up, and other meetings, whatever is in my calendar. And then we, in the stand-up, we discuss all the things like what are we currently working on, what are we blocked upon, or anything which is which we need help out. So any call outs and all those stuff. And then once the stand up is over, I come back to the assigned, either sometimes we have assigned work which we need to finish, or a part of my day also goes in uh, helping others and doing some peer and code reviews. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so coming to the tech stacks, which our students are really looking forward to learn. So what are the tech stacks that you have worked on in Expedia? You told us Expedia, you mostly use React, TypeScript, JavaScript, Redux maybe, or Mobex, I think we use in Expedia, right?
Nobex.
And
Yeah.
then we use GraphQL. Cool. Obviously HTML and CSS. What about Paytm and Sapient? What are the tech stacks that you have worked on? And also in backend, what do we use in Expedia mostly?
Okay. So Expedia, yeah, front end tech stack is similar. Back end, we have GraphQL in Kotlin. Then we have some services in Java. And apart from that, Paytm was also very much similar in terms of backend Java, and front end was React. Sapient, I had multiple projects, so most of the projects were very different. So one of the project was completely in jQuery,
Okay.
which was one of my starting project, and then we moved to do. We had one project which was plainly on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and other towards the end, like we the project I had was completely in React. So yeah, more or less the tech stack was similar to React and back on Java.
Got it. Got it. So actually, these are two major technologies that we focus at Geekster also. Like most of our front end tech stack is on React only, and on Java we have both Node and sorry, on backend we have both Node and Java.
Okay.
Cool. Moving ahead, yeah. So does your company hire freshers? Like, do we hire freshers at Expedia? If so, what is the criteria or skill sets that we look for?
So I know that Expedia team hires from college campuses. I know few colleges like BTU, we go for interviews, and majorly they don't look for a specific, like you don't have to be an expert in React or Java. Because at the pressure level, what they majorly look for your aptitude and your how good you will be in if you're about to learn anything. So that's the major thing that they look at. And apart from that, I am not aware like they hire as an off-campus otherwise for a fresher level, but definitely they visit some colleges that I know that they hire from.
Okay, I think Paytm does hire freshers in off-campus drives also.
Yeah, Paytm does.
So Paytm may, what are the skill set that they look for?
Kind of similar, like they might ask you whichever tech stack you might have mentioned, so they can ask you some pseudocodes or some simple DS questions and all, or puzzles sometimes, but yeah, more or less similar.
So data structure algorithm is important for these interviews, more like companies like Paytm and Expedia, that we can say, of course. One programming language, whichever the person has mentioned in their resume, right? So that is
Yeah,
also, that makes sense. Somebody is asking, is aptitude important? Or do we have round for aptitude, logical reasoning, all of that in companies like Paytm and Expedia?
I don't think we have that in Expedia, because that level of round I'm completely not aware of.
Right. Even I don't.
But in yeah, but in our times we used to have sometimes aptitude tests.
Right. Cool. Okay. Let's talk about like, so right now, if you understand, so at Geekster, mostly we have students from tier 2 and tier 3 colleges. Okay. So there are like some of them have campus placement, but again, like big companies, like top good product-based companies are not what come in the campuses. So most of our students are looking for off-campus placements only. And obviously everybody's like, most of our students are very talented. They put in a lot of effort. Like they put in at least 10 to 12 hours of class studies. Then they do self-study of 10 to 12 hours every week. So yeah, it's a good amount of time that they dedicate. So now I just need some tips from you that for our students, if they want to get into some of the top IT companies, especially product-based companies, uh, where do you think, what areas do you think that they should focus on?
So for one thing which I think that they should definitely focus on is some to have a good understanding about some data structures and algorithms.
Right,
So maybe they can practice, more around the questions from the classroom training where they get the concepts, and then they can try and apply those concepts in some coding questions.
right,
So that's one of the thing which I think that if you can, master, it's just not for the fresher level. Eventually also if you try and switch your job, every time you'll be, kind of you'll know that this is one of the thing. Most of the companies do take one round of data structures for sure, apart
right,
from the tech stack which you are comfortable with. So like they can have one round of React or Java, whichever works for you, and then maybe one round of data structure is very much in most of the companies very common.
right. Okay, some students have this confusion that they are always about, I should learn this language also, that language also, I should learn Python also, Java also, C++ also. So do you think that is worth it? Having knowledge of a lot of languages, do you think that is worth it, or should we focus more on one language and doing coding more in that language?
So definitely you should work on one language, maybe two, but not more. It doesn't matter, because all that is difference if you see is the syntax. Yeah, you
Right,
might not be aware about the syntax of Python. Like I myself am not aware about the syntax of Python, but if given a question, at least I'll be able to tell, like, okay, these many for loops or this for loop can help me, you know um, answer the question. So the logic is more important than the language, that's for sure.
right,
And even if the interviewer doesn't know, he won't, most of the time they won't ask you like, I know Python, so you just do the coding in Python or don't. So that
right.
doesn't happen. They just look for the logic and all. So I don't think that people should run for multiple languages.
Got it. Okay. And yeah, do you think apart from like having one knowledge in one particular language or one particular tech stack, and apart from being decent at data structure and algorithms, one problem that I have seen very recently is that because all the students know that okay, DSA is important, they start practicing a lot on platforms like Lead Code and all. And I recently had this experience. This is for the students also, that there were a few students I interviewed. I am asking them dynamic programming questions and they are solving them. Okay, because these are common Lead Code questions or common hacker rank questions. But then if I am asking them very basic fundamental questions like quick sort algorithm or fundamental questions about databases, they are not able to answer that. So do you think computer science fundamentals are equally important to get a good job?
Very much. So in the same sense, like, these days front-end development is like a lot of people will start and say that, okay, I started working in React, but they don't know the fundamentals of JavaScript, which is the basic theme or what is React based upon. So that's very much similar to what you said. Like if you don't know computer fundamentals and you are directly jumping to something that will make your base weak. That's what I would say.
Right. So basically the fundamentals, the foundations are more important. I would also agree to that, because I like it was very weird for me. I'm asking like even medium level Lead Code questions and they are able to answer it pretty easily. And then I'm asking very simple puzzles or simple problem solving questions and they are not able to answer that. So this is a key takeaway for all of you here, that you should also focus on computer science fundamentals. It could be things like operating system. It could be things like database management system, like computer networks. So you should, I'm not saying to go into a lot of depth in these subjects, but you should know the fundamentals of this. Great. Cool. Some key tips, Plavika, that you would want to give to the candidates, like what they should improve. It could be on the technical side. It could be on the non-technical side. Let's start with the technical side. Like when you interview someone, what are the things that you are looking forward?
Okay, to start with, I would say be confident. Don't make a picture in front of your interviewer which is not true. I mean, just tell them what you know. Tell them honestly that what you know and what you don't. So like if I ask questions and if somebody says that I'm not comfortable with this, I definitely don't go deep into it, and I'll be rather asking you questions which you are comfortable about. Be a pro, but not in, don't try to master everything. Be a pro in whichever tech stack you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with React, JavaScript, or Java, so don't try to master everything. And very honestly and humbly answer the questions which you feel that the interview also looks for. As an interviewer, I myself look for honesty as well. Like if somebody says that I don't know, I don't judge him like, okay, he doesn't know this, as simple as this. Sometimes it just doesn't click. Sometimes in an interview for us also, it doesn't click. You don't know. And
I'm nervous also. I'm very nervous also.
Yeah. That too. And overall also, sometimes it doesn't, you don't just know the answer and you just tell them that, okay, I think I knew it, but I don't, and all. And then be clear with your logics and fundamentals. Like earlier also Vikas said that your fundamentals are very much important, because if there are very tough questions and you are able to answer it, and the interview trick could be that they just check your basic, and if you don't, that will be a very very much negative point. So that's the thing around tech. Apart from that, like for interviews, building your LinkedIn profile, a good resume, a compact and a very good resume is also important.
Right. And let's talk about like interpersonal skills. So what are some interpersonal, like you already mentioned that one should be confident in the interview. What are some other things that you feel it is important and people do not like put in a lot of effort for that? Like things could be like reaching the interview in time and things like that. So anything like that you feel that students should take care of while going for an interview?
So if you handle it professionally, it will be like a very smooth ride for you. Like if you even if you're sometimes not able to show up for an interview for a genuine reason, be be early and tell the HRs or the recruiting team that okay, I won't be available at this time, and make sure that the interview schedule time you're always available and upfront and ready to
Right.
be to be interviewed, rather than just being late. All these things are like just to maintain the decorum of an interview. Otherwise, all these impressions are your first impressions, and all the things matter.
Right. Okay. When an interviewer asks, introduce yourself or give us an introduction about yourself, what is there a perfect reply to that?
I don't think there's a perfect reply, but yeah, definitely tell them your name. What if it has a fresher level, tell them your college grades. I don't know how much they matter. I won't say that matters a lot,
The
but
stream of
then you
maybe.
yeah, college and stream is important,
Right.
name is important, then just maybe where are you from, what do you like, maybe around like I it could be a personal touch also for a single liner, maybe that won't harm.
And then what about the
Internships you can mention.
and workshop trainings, all of that?
Yeah. So if you have done any internships, you should definitely add those. They do add values, and if you have done some workshops and all.
Okay. And at the end, mostly interviewers ask, do you have any question or do you want to ask some question? So to that, is there a good reply that people should give?
So
Or
you
what?
should never say that you don't have any question for them,
Right.
because it is you either you mostly are bound to have some questions with the interviewers, and it can be as simple as that, like what will my role look like if I join your organization, where will I stand, what will I do, how will I contribute, any of these, and then maybe like how as a company his day-to-day life is, or what the interviewer is contributing to. If they are comfortable, they'll definitely answer. And then maybe you can also ask like overall how the company is doing, in terms of business, what products they have, what tech stack they are using, because
Right.
at the fresher level you are not very much expertise on, you don't have any expertise on any particular tech stack. So what tech stack your organization is working on, that will be a good help to know like what you might be working on.
Right. So students, I see you all are asking questions in the chat. Be assured that we will be answering the questions very soon. Okay, just in about 5 minutes. Cool. Let's move on. Okay. There are situations where I purposely ask difficult questions from the candidate. I know that it is not a question for a fresher, not something to ask a fresher, but still I purposely ask the candidate such questions. So if as a candidate, I feel that this is a very difficult problem, how should I approach it in the interview?
Okay. So if it's a difficult problem to a level where you are clueless about it, like, okay, I don't know what has to be done.
Right.
Maybe you can try and ask few questions which will help you understand things about the question.
Right.
And even if that doesn't work, it's totally my personal opinion, but I do say that, okay, I don't know.
Okay.
Because as an interviewer, sometimes they are actually asking a difficult question which they might have an idea that you might not know.
Right.
And giving up some random answer, or a completely, you should not look like doing a mistake, rather
Right.
than just agree to it, like, okay, it's a difficult problem, these things I want to understand. Even if it doesn't work, just let them know that I think he will definitely, or she will definitely move on to next question, and they'll know. So I
Sure.
won't say to be because if you start overthinking about that question, that will kind of impact your further questions. You'll start, feeling like already I don't know anything and all that. So that kind of a mindset should not overpower you. Rather, just accept it, move on.
Okay. But what if it is a problem solving question? It is a tough problem solving question. Okay. So maybe a game that we all play, maybe somebody asked me to write the code of chess. Okay. Now writing the code for a chess game is not an easy task to do, right? But I have always played chess in my life. So I know the fundamentals. So such questions, how should we start basically? Is there any
Maybe,
approach for such problems?
maybe you can break it down, like, no,
Absolutely.
don't try to attack on the complete thing and do everything, but
Correct.
break down the question. Try to do things which, like if you are need you if you have to create the whole look and feel also, maybe start with creating the check boxes,
Right.
this the
Squares.
board.
Right.
Yeah. And then maybe the players, then
Right.
move on to the final functionality of what item will move how much. But you can break all these into functions and, smaller chunks, smaller logical chunks, I would say,
Right.
so that interviewer will also know that you're thinking in a direction, and he will also guide you.
Absolutely. Makes sense. Right. So this is a very important takeaway for everybody here, students especially, that there are many times where you will feel that this question is not very simple for you as a fresher, but you have some idea about it, right? So try to, as Plavika said, try to break it down into smaller chunks, into smaller sub problems, and try solving them one by one. Okay. The more you answer, the more your chances will increase. And I think it is, in this case, it is important to, like, some cases it is important to, like, if it is a very clear theoretical question that, okay, tell me what is server side rendering? I don't know server side rendering. I will clearly tell you I don't know. But if it is a problem solving question which I can attempt, okay, so in that case, it is important for you to not quit also. So it will be a test of your perseverance, that given a complicated situation, how are you tackling this situation? Okay, great. Let's move on. Yeah, apart from the technical skills, do you think there are other skills that can help our students excel in their career or to get a good job?
So apart from tech skills, definitely, like, you can have a good networking, uh, create your great LinkedIn profile, that will definitely help you. And having connections even in the office, if your colleagues are working with you and sometimes they switch jobs, your friends are in different companies, so definitely all these things add up. They are also a good source of getting you referrals. So that's one thing which I think that's important.
Right, absolutely. Uh, cool. One question here. Is it okay to be satisfied? So what I mean is that I've seen a lot of people that if they get their first job in college or after college, they are very satisfied and then they stop looking out and they are like they just want to join that company. So it's okay to be satisfied, or is it okay to like even after you have got one offer, you still keep trying, try for better companies, try for higher packages? So personally, like, what do you think is better, or what would you do?
So it's very much dependent to person. I would say that even I have friends who are very much satisfied in their current job, and they might not have switched from the college times itself. But
Right.
then, if it's mostly about how satisfied you are. I mean, if you are happy with your job, happy with the compensation and everything, then it doesn't matter for you. But sometimes people are like, they want more. They want to explore more. Learning is different. If you go on changing different companies, definitely the learning curve might be much more than if you are in a single company, because the exposure that every company gives you is very different.
All right.
So that's one thing that it is very much dependent to person to person.
Makes sense. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Any last words that you have? Any last tips that you have for the audience, for our students, for their preparations? After this, we'll take up the questions.
So I would say all the best, everyone. I mean, I'm sure you guys will be doing great and you'll excel in whatever you are doing. Just be passionate about your work, keep working hard, and make sure that you learn things you are taught, and or finish your classroom trainings and all. Keep on working on the keep yourself updated, I would say. Like, you can use medium.com for, or Twitter is also a very good source to get an information about latest technologies and what is coming up in the market. But yeah, overall, all the best.
Great, great, Plavika. So let's start taking some questions that our students have told. So one person, Vijay Kumar, is asking, what is the plan to crack product-based interviews?
So it's not very different from a service based. I mean, I would say sometimes when you are already in a product based company, you get more calls from the product based company. But apart from that, the overall interview process is not very different for a service based company or a product based company. It's very much similar in terms of, like, which we already discussed. Like, sometimes they ask you questions to compete in a hacker rank or any online platform, and then maybe some set of questions. So it doesn't very much differs in a way.
Got it. Okay. And so if somebody wants to become a full stack developer, like, what could be a roadmap for them?
So roadmap will be definitely working on your computer fundamentals, then working on data structures, work on coding part. Don't bother about the language you're working on. Whichever language you're comfortable with, try and come up with the solutions in the same language.
Right.
And yeah, and work on your skills and delivery skills. Like, be confident of what you know, and
Okay.
be honest.
Okay, so for a full stack developer, how will it be different? Like, because they need to know about front end also, back end also. So will it be different than what you want to prepare for?
Maybe, like, if you are clear with these fundamentals, I won't say that you'll need much work in terms of learning any language. So, but yeah, eventually, if you want to be overall full stack developer, then learning React, and then even Node is fine as a full stack. Otherwise, Java, all these things you can learn.
Okay. Okay. One student has asked how to improve logic building in programming and coding.
So for logic building, the one of the things which I do personally is, even I kind of get to the questions in lead code. I actually sort them in the level wise. Like, there are difficulty levels: medium, high, hard, medium, and easy ones.
Yeah.
So based on that, I pick up some questions and then I try to answer them. And then based on that, that because helps you to run all the test cases, right? So all the use cases it covers. So that's one of the great way to learn and build your own logic, because that way you will kind of cater every use case.
All right. Okay. Cool. Okay. There is a student asking, what is the hike or package that we can expect if we move to product-based company from a service-based company? So this, you have done it yourself. So maybe you would find this relevant. So what is the hike or package difference they can expect?
I have not done a service to service change, so I don't have a comparison parameter. But then the hike is good.
For service to
I mean, in
product.
terms of yeah, so service to product, it's a good hike, I would say. I mean, a lot of people I know want to work for a product based company, but internal hike I won't say is that much, but
Right.
definitely when you switch, it's way better.
Right. So some people we know even have got 100% hike in their salaries when comparing from a service-based company. So yeah, so generally it is good because if it's a decent sized product-based company, they tend to pay more. Cool. Coming to another question, we are doing. I want to know how question is. We are doing coding questions in Geekster, but I want to know how question will help us to develop anything. Vivek Patel, I'm sorry, your question is not clear. Vivek, can you ask your question properly? We are doing question in Geekster, but I want to know how question will help us to develop anything. Which questions you are talking about, Vivek? Your question is not clear. Please repeat it. Until then, I'm moving to the next question. At least which skills are important if we want to go in a product-based company? So Ashish, Plavika has already answered this multiple times. So mostly, as she said, one thing is computer science fundamentals. In computer science fundamentals, three things that are mostly important is some knowledge of operating system, some knowledge of computer networks, and some knowledge of database management system. Okay. Apart from that, data structure, algo is important. And then one programming language knowledge is important. If you can choose any language, C, C++, Java, JavaScript, PHP, any language that you are most comfortable in. Okay. And try to solve the concepts in that language. So I think these are the most important skills if you want to go in a product-based company. Okay, somebody's asking, I have done web fundamentals, DSA with Java, and now I am doing advanced DSA and React as well. Any suggestions for me?
So like you can start with creating a simple React app maybe,
Right.
and if the Facebook doc of React is extremely good, so I will
Right.
suggest go through that. In that also there is a demo, and then you can create your own React app. CRA is a good way to start your bootstrap your React application. So hands-on is the best way to learn, and apart from the doc.
Right. So Shamukit, as Plavika mentioned, you already have a decent knowledge, and you're already starting with React. So doing hands-on projects and then deploying it to a server would be a great experience for you, because you will be developing something on your own and then you will be putting there on the internet so that any company where you interview can also look into your portfolio. So that will also create a very good impression. Okay, somebody is asking coding better language, Java or Python. So Rohit, the short answer is for your level, every language is equal. You can choose C, C++, Java, Python. For your level, everything is the same. In general also, every language has some advantages, some disadvantages. So that depends totally on the use case, what you are trying to build. Okay, Sandeep is asking, I was a fresher just taking training in service-based company where I got placed in on-campus. Okay. Since I got the job, I have helped many friends in DSA exams and they got into product-based company with 20 LPA package, which is 125% of my package. So basically he's asking, he also wants to do the same. So how to apply for off-campus companies for the same?
LinkedIn is a great platform, and it will definitely land up you in a good way. And just not LinkedIn, there are multiple other platforms from Nafido.
Okay. Plavika, I think you are stuck. Okay, meanwhile, I'll continue. So as Plavika said, LinkedIn is a great platform. Okay, you can find all the companies and their job openings. You can reach out to the recruiters who have posted the job. Apart from LinkedIn, there are many platforms like Naukri.com is very popular. Then there is Hiretail, there is HireX. Uh, I think I think many of them actually. I don't even know all these names. Apart from them, what you can also do is you can make the list of some companies that you are actually targeting. You can also see on their careers page, okay, whether they have an opening or not, and you can start reaching out to people. Okay, there are some platforms uh, like Lucia or Contact Out. So explore these platforms. Okay, so you can find the emails and phone numbers of a lot of recruiters. Okay, Contact Out is one, Lucia is one. Okay, Zoom Info is one. So you can explore these also. So you can find the emails and phone numbers of a lot of recruiters. So start emailing them. Even cold email is fine. So try to reach out to a lot of people, and you will definitely. But if you mail 20 people, one of them will reply definitely. Right. So just keep doing that. Perseverance is the key, I would say here. Okay, somebody is saying, what should we do if we can't understand programming? I'm learning for 2 months, but how can I develop my potential understanding of these things? Plavika, you're on mute. Plavika, are you there? You're on mute. I cannot listen to you. Okay, just give me a minute, everyone. Plavika, did you listen to the question?
Sorry, I didn't.
Okay, so somebody is asking, what should we do if I'm not able to understand the concept of programming? How can I develop understanding?
So for that, maybe, there's a website, Geeks for Geeks, wherein maybe you can uh, start with the questions. Maybe if you're beginning it and you just want to understand things,
Right.
just try and think for a while, and then maybe you can, go through the solutions, because they have the solutions in a way like it is in brute force first, and then they optimize the solution eventually. So there are multiple solutions, and that helps you think, build your thinking also, not just, it doesn't matter like you get a question and you should know the answer. It is not like that. So to build that, you can, just go through the questions. If you're not able to answer it or think of a solution, then try to read the solution and understand what it is actually, what is this actually doing, and then build your own logics, and eventually it will help you in answering other questions, maybe if not one or two.
Right. So to add to it, I will also say that if you feel you are very, very poor and you're not able to understand anything, then start from the scratch. Start writing the algorithms for your program. Start drawing the flow chart. Start writing some pseudo code that will help. And then you can move on. And then you can start practicing on Geeks for Geeks. Okay, start with the fundamentals, if else conditions, variables, data types, for loops. Start with these things. Okay, once you understand these things, everything else, what are functions, what are classes. So these things are the fundamental things, I would say. If you are able to understand these things, slowly you will definitely understand the more complex things also. Cool. Somebody, Tejaswi is asking, is it important to learn React, jQuery, etc., all of them?
So definitely no. It will very much depend upon what your project is on. But even if you know the JavaScript, you will be definitely able to answer or work in jQuery on React. Most of the companies have now moved from jQuery, but not all. So, but that's definitely that doesn't require you to know all the tech stacks or all the languages. Again, but the same is valid for the backend as well. So
Right.
you need not know.
Plavika, sorry, your voice is not coming. Cannot hear you. Okay, so meanwhile, I'll continue. Yeah, so as she was saying, you don't need to know all of these languages, even if you are good at like some of the important languages, like in front end, even if you know JavaScript really well and you don't know anything else, still it is good enough to get you a job. But yeah, in today's world, JavaScript plus React is a great combination. Instead of React, you can choose something like Angular or some other framework. That is fine. Cool. Okay, somebody's asking, if you have backlog in final semester, does it matter? Will it ruin your career? Plavika, are you there?
Yeah, no, I think you can clear your backlogs, right? And
Right.
so companies don't go for like they don't even ask like how much. Most of the companies they don't bother about this GPAs you're getting or how many backlogs you had, as long as you're good in your aptitude and logical reasoning and all. So that's more than enough to hire you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So everybody, if that comforts you, I also had a backlog in my final semester, and I cleared that out ultimately, and I got a decent job. So yeah, don't worry, it won't ruin your career. Just keep working hard, clear your backlog, and then start learning new things. You will do good. Somebody's asking, ma'am, currently I am working in a different industry. Should I mention this in my resume or interview?
Sure. I mean, I don't think it will harm. I mean, people
Right,
do change their industries, and that's not a problem.
right. BTech in resume be a matter of rejection? So BTech in mechanical, could this be a matter of rejection?
It will very much depend on companies, but most of the companies I know it doesn't matter. Well, if you are able to clear the interviews, it doesn't matter.
Right. So it depends on the company, as she mentioned. Some companies allow people from different branches, some companies do not. So if the company is not allowing, we cannot do anything about that. But if the company is
Yeah.
allowing, which most of the companies allow right now, you won't have any problem. So again, if that helps you, I just want to tell you that Plavika is from electronics branch. She's not from a computer science background. There are many friends that we have who are from electrical, mechanical, different fields. So yeah, no problem as such.
Yeah. Sometimes screening is difficult. For
Right,
some companies, they don't screen and they just simply reject, but not all. And once you get the opportunity to be interviewed, crack it, and you'll definitely land a the job.
right. Okay, somebody is saying, actually, I am currently doing job in product-based company and I am handling production issues also. So my question is, what should I mention in my resume about my experience?
So, like, you must be working on something about which you're handling the production issues. So, adding like a couple of pointers in your resume also helps. Like maybe like your current project, what you're working on, and what tech stack it is based on. And also maybe a second liner could be like, I am also handling the production issues, which is actually impacting your business, right? So that's very much important. Like everybody don't have that nerve to handle the production issue. So that's a great thing that you're doing, and definitely you should mention that, and that will be an add-on.
Right. So production issues are not a very simple thing, to be very honest. In fact, engineers are very afraid of them. So if you are handling them, it's a big plus. You should mention it, whatever you are doing, what kind of production issues are that, how are you handling them, how are you fixing them? You should definitely add that in your resume. Somebody is asking, sir, please give me two info about SAP. Gaurav, your question is not very clear. You are asking SAP, SAP Labs as a company. or SAP as a technology. So please like improve your question. What exactly do you want us to talk about? Okay, Uttam is asking, what does Geekster provide for beginner person? How is empty knowledge about full stack web developer? So Uttam, I will just be sharing some information with you about Geekster. Just give me 2-3 more minutes. Okay. Karthik is asking, does every product-based company ask our academic marks? I don't think so. Some companies have a minimum criteria, Karthik. So they might have a 60% ka minimum criteria. If you fulfill that criteria, does not matter. Uske baad, if you have got 80%, 90% or 70% does not matter. Suraj is asking, can I get placement only after Java plus DSA without learning any other technologies? Plavika, do you want to answer this?
Yeah, I mean, that's completely fine. I also mentioned it earlier, like
Right.
any language is fine if you can code or, put your logic straight and correct in any language. That should be enough.
Sure. Viswajit is asking how to join Geekster. Uttam is asking suggestion about studying in Geekster. So Viswajit and Uttam, since Plavika is not from Geekster, I will be answering these questions. Just give me a few minutes more. Okay. Shivani is asking, is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript sufficient to get a front-end developer job? Or any programming language is mandatory for a front-end developer? HTML, CSS plus JavaScript.
Yeah, I think that's very good. That's the base of it. Even React has JS6, which is basically the HTML from a JavaScript. So if you know these three things very good, you can learn SAS. If your project, even if it's using SAS, it doesn't matter. CSS and SAS are very much similar.
Right.
And then having a good understanding about JavaScript will definitely help you in any of, if your organization using jQuery or React, it doesn't matter, or Angular, it won't matter.
Right. So yeah, the short answer is that this is good enough. Okay. But if you want to increase your chances, you can learn a new framework like React or Angular. Okay. But this is also good enough to get you a job. The more skills you have, obviously your chances improve. The package that you can get can improve. That is obvious. Sai Teja is asking, can non-IT candidate like civil background can crack a product-based company? We just answered this, Sai Teja. For a mechanical student, the answer is same for civil background. You definitely can, provided that the company allows people from non-IT background. So if the company allows, you can definitely do it. Another question is what I learned to crack web design interview. That is from Rahul Raj. And the answer that we gave, we have already covered these things, guys. So mostly for front-end developer, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and any other framework like React would be great. For backend, Java would be great. Node.js would be great, along with a database. So you can do MySQL, you can do MongoDB, and some knowledge of problem solving and data structures would be great. Sheikh Mohammed is asking, is JavaScript language enough for front-end and backend? So in today's world, the answer is yes. JavaScript can be used for both React and Node. So that is good enough. Okay. Satyam is asking, is it okay to have a i3 processor laptop to develop and begin and learn as a full stack developer? Plavika, do you want to answer this? i3 processor laptop?
Yeah, I think it won't matter. You should have a code editor, and that's it.
Which operating system is required? Any operating system, Windows, Linux, Ubuntu, Mac, all of these are fine. Does mechanical branch matter? Already answered this. I am BSc Computer Science honors, but fresher. How to get interview in any company? Viswajit, the answer is the same. That is for everybody. Off-campus ka process is the same. Go on LinkedIn, go on different platforms like Naukri.com, like Hiretail, and keep applying there. There are some plugins of Contact Out, Lucia, Zoom Info, where you can find the contact of different recruiters. There are some companies all three companies have a career page. So there are many ways from you can reach out. Okay. Subscribe to all platforms from where you can get some notification about any hiring drives happening. Keep applying to these companies. When you are applying, apply for all kind of companies. service-based also, startups also, MNCs also, product-based also, all kind of companies. Okay. Okay, somebody's asking, sir, if we divide DSA problem among 3 categories, easy, medium, and hard, then which category is enough for crack the interview as freshers or 1 year experience? Plavika, do you want to answer this? You are on mute.
Yeah, so it's not like if you just divide and you just finish up with the easy questions. Mix of all three would be great, because sometimes, depending on the level, definitely, but sometimes interviews just clear up with your easy level of questions, but sometimes they move gradually from easy to medium, maybe hard. So in that case, you should be ready for all three. So the idea was to build a understanding about these questions, and if you just clear some easy questions, you'll kind of, be able to think through about the other easy questions as well. So
Right.
don't stick to one.
Right. So I agree. So mostly for a fresher, you should don't worry about the hard problems too much. Mostly focus on the easy and medium ones. I would say. Samir is asking, is knowing one language enough to get a job? So again, she has already answered any one language like JavaScript, Java, C, C++, PHP, one language nicely, and you program in that, code in that, it should be enough to get you a job. Okay. Gharsh is asking, doing hacker rank questions in Geekster, how much will it help us during interviews? Plavika, are you there?
Yeah, Geekster.
No, it's about hacker rank.
I mean, it's just.
So if will hacker rank questions help you or not? Doing questions in hacker rank, will it help you or
Definitely, definitely. So any of the
Plavika, sorry, I think I'm losing you. Your voice is breaking a little. So I will answer on her behalf. She was basically saying that yes, definitely any coding platform, be it HackerRank, HackerEarth, CodeChef, LeetCode, any of these coding ninjas, any of these coding platform you choose, most of them actually have the same questions also. So start coding on any of these platforms and it should be good for you. Okay. Cool. Okay, Anup is asking, I am from non-IT domain and want to switch to IT. So I am doing Java, DSA, and SQL nowadays. Can you please suggest me a better way to upskill myself? So Anup, we have already talked about similar things. Okay, Java is good enough, DSA is good enough, SQL is good enough. Just start do your coding practice, and it is good enough for you right now. If you are understanding Java, that is good. If you are not understanding Java or SQL on the back end, you can try learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript on the front end. See if that is easier for you. Okay. Suraj, I think Sukumar is asking, full stack developer, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Node, DBMS, OS, system design, network. At last, only one programming language, Java, your choice. After DSA, then practice. So Suraj has answered this question for our behalf. Okay. Vivek is asking, may you share your experience of your first project? What happens in the project? Plavika, do you want to answer that? Your experience of the first project that you worked on.
The first project is very special, and you actually kind of get the practical exposure of all that you have maybe learned theoretically or from your friends or everything. So my first project experience was great. We worked for a US client. It and we learned a lot, actually, like how these things work. We are not simply involved in our own coding, and it's not like you get a work and you just need to finish it and give it up. So we were also involved in client discussions when product comes up with the requirements, and we got to understand like how they think, what could be the technical limitations and all. So all those things develop when you work in a actual project with a team, and that's really great to start work with.
Absolutely. Okay, somebody is asking, Chandan is asking, any one language is enough for full stack developer. So Chandan, full stack matlab front end and back end दोनों. So front end का एक language पकड़ो, back end का एक language पकड़ो, and that is good. ठीक है. If you're talking about full stack developer, ठीक है. In general, software developer, one language is good enough. You can do Java, Node.js, JavaScript, PHP, C, C++, anything. Okay, Karthik is asking, Plavika, if you can answer this. Is it mandatory to learn DSA for getting a good front-end developer job? How important it is?
It's not mandatory, but lot of companies do ask. So,
Right.
again,
So if you
I'm not
want to,
saying that every company I've interviewed with, for a front-end profile, they do ask data structures.
right.
Sapient back then it didn't. Sapient didn't, but now I'm not sure. And in general, most of the good companies do take data structures from.
Absolutely. So if you want to apply for one of the top product-based companies, they would want data structure. If you want to apply, if you're applying for a startup or a medium level company, they may or may not have data structure. So it totally depends. So it's not mandatory, as she said, but if you learn it, it will improve your chances to get a good job and to get a good salary.
Definitely.
Okay, Gaurav is asking how to choose programming language to start your career after BTech in electrical engineering. How to choose a programming language?
Maybe you can start reading about it, learning it. If it interests you, definitely go for it. Sometimes, maybe let's say if I start with Java and it doesn't interest me at any point, and maybe I'll explore front end, because you're at the fresher level, you can definitely explore these things around. And you might have your own preferences, that you might like front end more or the back end more. So it totally depends. You start with some learnings, build up simple project, build something, and then you'll know that what you like, what you don't.
Right. Also, adding to it, one smart way could be that just Google about the most popular programming languages as of today. So if you just Google it, today you will find that JavaScript is probably the most popular language, followed by Python, followed by Golang, followed by Java, followed by Kotlin. So these 5, 6 languages are the most popular programming languages as of today. Why are they popular? Because most companies use them and most developers know them. So maybe you can start picking one of them, like any one from the top 5 or 6. That will probably increase your chances to get a job also. Cool. So Sai Teja is asking best reply for why do you want to change your career from non-IT to IT?
So maybe I'm pretty sure that it would have interested you to move on to a IT project in any way, be it monetarily or be it, personal interest. So can't say a best answer, but one honest.
You are fascinated about it. You want to develop a thing, or build something which users can, which reaches the masses, maybe. Yeah.
Right. And I would suggest just be honest. Even if you want to say that developers get more salary, that is a fair enough reason. I don't see any problem in saying that. So just you can
True.
say that, yeah, you are passionate about it. You think that this has good career prospects. Everything is fair, I think. Satyam is asking, I'm from EC branch. Am I eligible for top companies? Satyam, we have already answered this. Don't ask the same question again and again. If the answer is yes, you are. Sukumar, again, you are also asking repeating question. DSA के अलावा एक language sufficient है या नहीं? Already answered this. We said that it is yes. Okay. Singham Sai Prasad is asking us, doing more projects or solving more coding problems? Which is more important?
Mix of both, I would say. Like these are two different but similar things. So building a project, you will know, like if you are simply making a, let's say, a kind of a Flipkart application, you'll know what to add, what to not add, which language to use, how the UI should be, and all those things. And logic building will help you in like every aspect of it in terms of like deciding factors. So both are important.
Absolutely. Tejasvi is asking, I'm from Geekster, good with HTML and CSS, and now learning Java plus DSA. Should I start now, or should I start sitting in interviews, or should I complete Java plus DSA first? Tejasvi, if you want to be an only front-end developer, then you can start now. If you want to increase your chances of getting a good job by knowing both front-end and back-end, then better you can wait. So if you like front-end more, you can start now. Otherwise, if you want to get into full stack, you can wait for some time. Ravi Raj is asking, I'm from a commerce background, how much time I need to dedicate to learn at least one language to be a web developer? So Ravi Raj, if I see overall, it will take you at least 3 to 4 months time to be good enough to be a web developer. By web, I mean HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay. And I would suggest you to give at least 20 hours or 15 to 20 hours in a week. So 2-3 hours daily, if you give it, it won't take you about, well, in about 3 months of time, you can learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and some fundamentals. Cool. Good in front end versus good in back end versus average in full stack. What do you think between these, Plavika? This is an interesting question.
Yeah. So average in both is fine, but I think after a point, you have to have some expertise. You know, having knowledge of both is good, but if you think of growing in your role,
Right.
you have to have some expertise.
Right. So to summarize, as a fresher, it might be fine to be the jack of all trades, but after a while, it is better to be master of one. I would totally agree with that. Cool. Which technology, Spring Boot or React JS for long-term job in product side with step-by-step growth? So Manikant, these two are very different things. Spring Boot is used with Java, React JS is used on the front end. So both of them are very different and both of them are good. Okay, so you should choose whether you want to be in front end or back end. Front end may also React is much better. Okay, back end if you want, you can do Spring Boot along with Java. Can you both of us tell us about our first package? The answer is no. Anything except then package you can ask us. Work from home versus work from office, that is totally your choice. Okay, last question we are taking. Raju Gupta is asking, sir, if we need 10 points to crack the interview, then how much points will we get through DSA problem? If not 10, then what is the things except from DSA problem that help us to complete points? So Raju, short answer is that it depends on the interview. There are some interviews which are only DSA focused. So in that you will have multiple questions all from DSA. There are some interviews which are mixed. You may have DSA, you may have computer science fundamentals, everything. So there you might want to, there it could be a mix. Okay. But agar sirf DSA ka round hai, so you will have to do DSA completely. Okay. So it depends on the type of interview it is. It would differ from a company to company. So there is no definite answer to it. So everyone, this was the last question that we have taken. Let me just take you through some things about Geekster, because we have a lot of students who are not from Geekster. So basically at Geekster, what we are doing, we are trying to accelerate your career. We're trying to shape your future. And basically we do this by giving our thought through training process, and which are taken by some of the industry experts. So all the technical educators and mentors that we have are industry experts. They are working in one of the top companies themselves. They are doing it daily, and now they are teaching you, right? So whenever people ask me, I just ask them one question, that if you want to travel to the mountains, if you want to travel to somewhere near Manali and you are going by bus, who would you want your bus driver to be? somebody who is daily traveling to the mountain, daily driving to the mountains, or somebody who knows how to drive but has never driven, right? I think all of you will agree that somebody who has the experience, who is daily traveling, would be a much better driver, right? The same thing we do here. All the instructors that teach you are the ones who are daily doing these things on their own. Okay. So who we are, what can you expect in our program? And so we have already told you that basically we are an edtech startup. We are a platform. We are a platform where we train you. The courses can be from anywhere to 4 to 6 months. Okay. Mostly we have a full stack developer program, but even if you want to learn only front end or only back end, that is also possible. Okay. We give you training by industry experts. We give personal mentorship to you. So you will have a dedicated mentor who is also an industry expert assigned to you. You can ask any questions to them. We will also help you with soft skills and interview preparations. And we will also refer you to a lot of companies, and this will give you access to great opportunities. So starting with your training, to your interview preparation and to your placement, we take care of almost everything. Okay. Geekster so far has a 92% se bhi zyada aapka placement rate. Okay. We have impacted the lives of more than 1,500 students, and we are not even 2 years old. So in less than 2 years, more than 1,500 students have got placements through us. Okay. Okay. And you can see these are some of our alumni and the company where they have got placed. So you can see people who have got placed at PayPal, SkillGigs, Publicis Sapient, okay, and many other companies. These are product-based companies also and service-based companies also. So these are some of our top hiring partners. So far, our average salary is 7.43 lakhs per annum, and the highest salary is 21 lakhs per annum. We have tie-up with 300 plus companies. They are product-based companies also, service-based companies also, MNCs also, well-funded startups also. So these are the numbers that we are talking about. Okay. We care about your success as much as you do. Okay. Also, the best thing is that we do have a ISA model where you don't have to pay anything upfront. So if you want, we have two kinds of model. Either you can pay the fees upfront or you cannot. So if you pay the fees upfront, you get a 50% discount on the course fees. If you want to do it later on, once you have a job, that is also possible. But in both the cases, if by any chance you don't end up getting a job, you don't have to pay anything. Okay, so that is the best part. Okay, and the major course that we have is full stack web development, okay, where we cover backend and front end both. For everyone, you can go to geekster.in. This is our website. Okay, you can explore our courses, go to full stack web development, and you will find all the information here. The details of the program, the duration, the timings, when does the next batch start, what is the way that we follow, what all we give you. Okay, some parts of the syllabus also we are writing over here, what syllabus, what curriculum is there. So you can find everything here. Okay, some of our top educators that are there who will teach you. Okay. Here are some of our alumni who have got placements. You can see from your our hiring partners. So all the information you will get here. And here you can also choose to pay upfront or pay after placement. So the fees details and everything is given here. Okay. Great. So guys, that is all from our side. Plavika, are you there? Thank you everyone for joining. Thanks a lot, Plavika, for joining. Okay, thank you for being our guest today. Okay, and thank you for sharing, taking our time and to answer all the questions, to help all the students with your experience. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Vikas. It was great. Thanks for having me.
Okay, sure. And yeah, students, thanks a lot for joining. Okay. I hope this session was helpful for all of you. Uh, keep for students who are not enrolled at Geekster, explore the Geekster website, and if you want to enroll, just fill the form that whatever you want. Okay. For students of Geekster, all the best for your further sessions. Okay. And I'm pretty sure you all will get a good job. Cool. Thank you everyone for joining. Take care. I'll see you in one of the other sessions very soon. Bye bye. Bye, Plavika.